So sorry, there was just nothing I can do about it, particularly not when I'm online here like this. But hopefully we're back now, and you guys can see me. Oh, I don't want to have to check it again, but oh yeah, it started as a completely new video. Well, hopefully you guys are back on now. If anyone else can give me a shout out and let me know that we're working, that would be amazing. Yay, I'm back, says Emma Bartlett. Emma, you're a legend. Thank you so much. Okay, Sam9 says hi. I've no idea how much stuff I've missed. I've just gone through about 10 different photos, and I don't know if I missed your photos. I'm sorry. I missed the last 3 minutes. Thank you very much. Okay, so let me. I'm going to skip that stuff. I'll tell you what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to do a quick fire round because I've got so many questions coming in that I'd like to answer as many of them as I can at top lightning speed. So to all you guys, let's start now. Zach would like to know if polar bears ever lose their fur, and if yes, why? Well, they could do if they had something like mange. Ruby and Toby from Leicestershire want to know which animal has the biggest skeleton. Well, that's going to be the blue whale, biggest animal that's ever known to have lived. Cara 8 from Bristol. How long is an anteater's nose? Is it even called a nose? Yes, it is. About that long. Happy 10th birthday to our son, Alfie Turk. Happy birthday, Alfie. If you got to make a programme with Sir David Attenborough, where in the world would you like to go to? I'd probably do it in my backyard so you can tell me how awesome it is. Charlie 5 from West Sussex would like to know why ladybirds have spots. It's probably a signal to other ladybirds. Kiva, and it's also going to be a prismatic coloration as well, something that is a warning that they're not good to eat. Kiva Taylor 9 from Abu Dhabi. I have a bat sleeping on my balcony. It makes a real mess of poo. Is it dangerous to sweep it up? It might be dangerous to inhale it, but to sweep it up if there's only one bat, not a problem at all. Caden, age 9, Aberarron from West Wales has watched every episode. He's been studying birds of prey at school. What is my ultimate bird of prey? The peregrine falcon. Pippa, age 6. How far can great white sharks travel and how fast? Well, there was a great white shark that was tagged travelling from Australia to South Africa and back again, other way around. So South Africa to Australia and back again in a year. Very long way. And speed, 30 miles an hour is quite common. My son Daniel, huge fan, 5 years old. What's the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? There's several technical differences, but an alligator usually has a broader and shorter snout, crocodile longer and thinner. And alligators, there's a Chinese alligator in China and then the American alligator in North America. Ollie, age 9, on the Black Isle. How do aquatic birds float? Due to preen oil, which they cover their feathers with. Jem, what is your favourite dinosaur and which was the most dangerous? His favourite Spinosaurus. Mine too! How acidic or alkalinic is venom? It depends on which venom it is. Also, the constituent parts of it are very different as well, depending on the kind of animal that has been delivering it. Lily H, age 7. How big is a chinchilla's brain? About that big. And how much water is in the entire world? Well, I tell you what I can say about that is that we live in a contained system, so there is the same amount of water now in the world as there has always been, and it recirculates. It travels from here up into this is supposed to be quickfire. Let me carry on going. Why do narwhals have long, pointy things on their noses? Says Zach, age 7, from Cardiff. Lots of different theories, but it could be used as a temperature sensor. Xander, age 17. What's your opinion about what should be done about invasive species? Really tricky one. Some of them need to be removed if they're detrimental to our environment. Others, like for example grey squirrels, they're pretty much here to stay. Sebastian's question, are tigers really close to extinction? What's the prospect of them recovering in the wild? Yes, they are. There could be as few as 3,000 of them in the wild, and it's down to us and our efforts to try and make sure we can keep them. Lily 11 and Izzy 5. Is it common for jackdaws to attack red kites? Yes, it is. It's called mobbing. Jake 9 found an ant's nest in the garden under a rock. How far and wide beneath the soil would the nest go? The biggest that I've ever seen was a leafcutter ant's nest that we excavated, and it went down for about 3 or 4 meters. Massive, massive nest. Benjamin 4, he's obsessed with anacondas and colossal squids. Any facts on those? The anaconda is the biggest and the heaviest of all snakes. It can be about that fat around, and they can eat things like crocodiles. Isabel 9, what is the most endangered shark species? Very difficult to know because a lot of them are deep sea species. Could be something like a frilled shark or a goblin shark. We don't really know for sure. Zoe Benning, aged 8, in Sunbury-on-Thames. What are the largest, smallest bears? The largest is on average the polar bear, but the record breaker is the Kodiak bear, and I guess the smallest must be the spectacled bear. Paddington is the smallest. Right, okay. I need to take a little breath now because that is a lot of quick fire questions. I'll come back to a few more in just a second. I am going to do it a little bit longer today because of all the technical problems that we've had. To any of you who missed some of those minutes when it wasn't working properly. M.M. Wilton, do fish have ears and where are they at? Well, they don't have ears like us, but they do have a lateral line that works down what goes down the length of the body, which functions a little bit like an ear. It's a sensory organ, but it can also pick up the movement of other animals in the water around it. A big shout out to Innie. Hello, Innie Chan. How are you? Alexander, age 7. Which animal has the fastest heartbeat? Could be something like a hummingbird when it's in one of its mating flights. Their hearts go absolutely crazy. Nicholas, age 10. Why do lions have manes? So it's the male lions, and it's a way of making them look bigger and more imposing and more intimidating. It does, though, have major drawbacks, and that's one of the reasons why the female lionesses are the ones that do all the work. It is just down to the fact that they can overheat, and the mane can catch and snag on vegetation as they're chasing after their prey. Debbie Grant, what is the most dangerous mammal? Us. Not me personally, but us as human beings. We are, without question, the most dangerous mammal in the world. Craig Sampson, what about the badgers? I suppose I want to give you a bit of an update on the animals, my animals, because there's been a lot of change over the last couple of days. My swallows are on the cusp of leaving the nest and fledging, and I promise I will show you some footage of that on my YouTube channel and on my social media channels over the next couple of days. This morning was just such a crazy panic. I didn't manage to get any of the footage up here to show you what's happening, but they're all just hanging out of the nest. They're overflowing. They are absolutely ready to go. The badgers, the two youngsters, Wind and Willow, are still there. Again, I'll try and update some of that on my social media channels. The swans is not such a good story, unfortunately, so we are down to just 2 cygnets. Yesterday, unfortunately, we saw one of the cygnets being taken by a herring gull right on the river behind us. I did film some of it, but it was so grisly that I've kind of decided not to show it to you because I think that you might find it a little bit upsetting. But yeah, the gulls here have been one of the biggest predators of our, unfortunately, our local birds. There's one last little bit of a video I wanted to show you. I've been talking about hedgehogs, about what we can do to help protect them. Well, I've got this amazing bit of video that I shot with some of our rescue hedgehogs. It's doing a behaviour called self-anointing. We're not 100% sure why self-anointing happens. It tends to be in situations where the hedgehog is put in a new environment, or when it's meeting other hedgehogs, and it will lick itself using its saliva to cover its spines. I have an interesting idea, though. My interesting theory, which I would love to be able to try and find out more about, is that potentially that saliva could have some kind of toxin in it. And potentially that what it could be doing is covering its spines in those toxins, so that anything that it prickles could get more of a reaction from the prickle, more of a protective reaction. This is certainly, this leads on to the study that I've been doing for my master's thesis on the ribs of newts, which puncture themselves using their ribs as a protection, and they coat those ribs with toxins to make the deterrent more effective. So potentially, maybe this could be something that's happening here. Certainly, a lot of the ancestral forms of small mammals, particularly in the insectivora, things like Solenodon, have toxic venomous saliva. Is it absolutely crazy to think that there might be some kind of toxin present in the saliva of hedgehogs? I don't know, but it's an intriguing thought, and certainly something I would like to find out more about. Okay, let's get back to some more quickfire questions. We've got so many that have come in that I just really want to get through as many of them as possible. So, Elena, do you think Eurasian lynx reintroduction will ever happen in the UK? I would love to think that it could. It's so much more achievable than wolf reintroduction. And yes, why not? It would be brilliant. Max, age 6, loves sharks. What sharks may be around the UK coast? Things like blue sharks, porbeagles. There are some threshers, makos, and then lots and lots of smaller cat sharks. Henry 7 from Northamptonshire would like to know how king cobras shoot venom from their fangs. They're not a spitting cobra. There are some that do, but king cobras don't. My daughter is 11. Have you ever seen an Iberian lynx? Yes, I have. We filmed both Iberian lynx and Iberian wolves in Portugal. So she says a big hello from Lisbon. Well, a big hello to you too. George 6 from Ruskington would like to know why bees don't fly in the rain. Because they get wet! Peter, age 9 from Sligo, would like to know how big can squid get. The very biggest giant squid can be over 18 metres in length and might have an eyeball that could be the size of a dustbin. Lucas, aged 8, would like to know when piranha fish are feeding on something, how do they know there will be enough for everyone? Well, Yes, they kind of don't. Okay, Steve, is it 70 miles an hour that cheetahs can get to, says Luke J. Thomas. Commonly believed to be that. I've never seen that faster than 60, but yes, they definitely go super, super fast. Someone's saying that I thought the smallest bear was a sun bear, Gavin Reed. You could well be right, Gavin, but there's not an awful lot in it. We filmed both of them on Deadly 60, and they're pretty much the same sort of size. Second most venomous animal in the world is probably going to be a different kind of box jellyfish. Box jellyfish comes in at number 1. Maybe something like the irukandji will come in at 2. Isla, 9 from Brighton. What animal have you never seen but really would want to? Oh, there are so many. I think probably the snow leopard would be the one in the wild. Ellis, age 9. I'm watching this from the Grand Union Canal. Well, hello, Ellis. It's very, very nice to hear from you. What else have we got? So many questions here. Okay, so Isaac and Daisy saw a barn owl at 2 p.m. and wondered why it would be out during the day. Well, actually, barn owls do quite a lot of hunting during the daytime, quartering over fields, looking for things like voles below. And Barnaby from Moffat would like to know what bird of prey this pellet's from and why birds bring them up. I haven't got yours, but I have got one of my own. This is a barn owl pellet. And this is something that any one of you guys could do. If you're out for a wander on your daily exercise and you see what looks like a chunk of poo like this, look at it carefully. If it's underneath a post, which could be a perfect vantage point for a bird of prey, then maybe it could be a regurgitated pellet. So it's not just owls that do it, other birds of prey, but also things like gulls and herons will regurgitate pellets as well. If you soak this in water to make it nice and soft and then tease it apart with a paintbrush, you may well find something like this. So this I found in one of these barn owl pellets just the other day. It is the perfect skull of a vole, which tells you exactly what that owl has been feeding on. So pulling apart owl pellets is, to me, absolutely fascinating. There are various places online where you can record your findings as well, and also charts that can enable you to find out exactly what animal your owl has been feeding on. Zach 10 and Jessica 7 want to know what is countershading. Well, I have here a replica of a shark, and countershading is this scenario here where you have light colours on the underside and dark colours on top. And if you can imagine, if this was out in the deep blue sea and you were underneath it, looking up, then above it would be the sky, which is light, and so this white would merge in perfectly with that sky. And if you were above it, looking down, then you would see the deep dark blue of the deep sea, and that would merge in perfectly with the upper surface of the shark. It is surprisingly simple, and because of that, there are lots and lots of animals in the sea that have it. Think of penguins, you know, they're dark on the back, they're light on the underside. Orca, absolutely perfect example. Countershading, super simple, but it works really well. Twin brothers Rufus and Ellery, 7 in Bristol, would love to see a British native snake in its natural habitat, but have not yet had any luck. Top tips for spotting one. Go to ponds where there are lots of frogs, really good for grass snakes. Jack from Oxfordshire, happy 11th birthday. He's raised over £200 for endangered species. Well done, Jack. Back to Rufus and Ellery. Yes, ponds where there are frogs, and they're going out relatively early before it gets too hot and looking around the edge of various habitats. You could well see things like adders that will be out basking in the sun. We have Sam, age 9. Are porcupine spines dangerous? Well, they can be. Happy birthday, happy 9th birthday to Lewis Nightingale. Those spines can be disengaged in the snouts of things like even lions when the porcupine's using them to protect themselves, and they can lead to a secondary infection, which can be really full on. Lottie, Esme and Maisie say thank you very much for doing these. It's been my absolute pleasure, as does Ellie, age 9 in Dorset. They had a badger in their garden at 2 a.m. Absolutely brilliant. Alana, 11. Is there anything such thing as a venomous shark? There are some sharks that have spines in front of the dorsal fin that may have venom, but not venomous bite. No venomous teeth, no venomous biting. Hello to Ollie from Northampton. Hi, how you doing? Kitty in Hungerford gets a hedgehog coming into her garden. She wants to get a camera trap. Good luck. It's absolutely brilliant. We have Happy birthday to James and Catherine Casey, who both have their birthdays this week, and they loved the lives. Well, thank you guys very, very much. Daughter Genevieve's 9th birthday next week. A shout out along with her sister Florence, 5. They all love animals, and Genevieve wants to be a vet. Shaka, is it possible to resurrect the woolly mammoth? Well, it'd be pretty tricky, but we do have intact DNA because in places like the Yamal Peninsula in Siberia, they're quite regularly finding mammoths that have been frozen in the ice and in the permafrost, and there's still plenty of even their soft tissues left. Lily was inspired to make your wildlife aquarium. Well done, Lily. She has lots of wicked pond life in it and keeps telling me that the cheetah is the fastest thing on earth, but could you please tell her it's a peregrine or a swift? She's not having it. Well, Lily, your dad or mum, whoever sent this in, is absolutely right. A massive hello to Millie and Oliver. Hello to you all. Oh, no, sorry, Millie Oliver. Really nice to speak to you, Millie. Joseph, age 9, from Worcester. We went for a walk last week and saw hundreds, if not thousands, of froglets on a path next to a lake. Is there an event that would have caused them all to emerge from the lake at the same time, or is it just chance? Very unlikely to be chance. So they will hatch at pretty much the same time. So they're going through their metamorphosis at the same time, and then they're all going to be froglets at the same sort of stage. Their reason for leaving the pond at the same time is going to be some cause of natural dispersal. It could be that because of the heat, that the water is too warm, or the water's drying up, or there's too many of them in there. But whatever it is, that they just need to move on to somewhere else. The most poisonous animal in the ocean is, with tetrodotoxin in its skin and its organs, the pufferfish. Amelie 8 and Barnaby 6. What is a polar bear's favourite food? Well, it's probably seals. Okay, so I mean, I could carry on doing this forever, but I'm aware that I've now been way over my time. So let me finish off with a couple of questions. Oh, hello to Miller Academy in Thurso. I'm so sorry, I almost missed you guys. I really didn't want to do that. Hello to you all. I have lots and lots of questions from people coming in asking about getting into a job doing what I'm doing. So Adventure 176, I think one of your first roles for the rough guides, now travel writing is oversaturated. What would be your suggestions for standing out from the crowd? Is he always busy? What's the best advice you give to someone who aspires to get into a career working in the natural world and environment? Liv Mario, what's the best advice you can give to someone who's starting a career in wildlife conservation? And Callum, I'm doing a master's in biology at Aberystwyth University, cracking uni, studying marine and freshwater biology. Is there any advice I can give you to getting your foot in the door? And my son wants to be a marine biologist. Any advice for him? So let's start right at the beginning. At the beginning, when you're young, you just want to learn as much about the natural world as you possibly can. It's so big, it's so vast, there's so much information to pick up that unless you start early, it's going to be really tricky. You know, there are over 20,000 different species of fish, well over 10,000 different species of birds. And when you get to invertebrates, the list is in the millions. So start learning early, acquire an inquisitiveness of spirit, so that whenever you're outside, whenever you see anything that you don't understand, try and find out what it means. Try and find out what animal created the poo or the pellet in front of you. Try and find out what bird is singing the song that you're listening to every single morning. Then as you start getting further down the line, think about academic study. So classically studying the sciences. I mean, I've always been terrible at science, but I've still managed to, get to my master's in biology. So, it is worth thinking about doing that if you think you might get through it. If you're not academically minded, then how's about going and working for a conservation charity? Start by volunteering and then perhaps working your way up through the ranks. And there's so many groups here in the country that really, really need our help, particularly now, and they need volunteers, they need money, and they need your passion and your ambition. And if you have that to give, then please do, because we really, really need you. Beyond that, going to university and studying biology, zoology, marine biology, that is the gold standard. That is the best way to get going. And there are so many universities around the country that are prime for that. I'm studying at Christchurch, Canterbury in Kent, which is an amazing uni, and thank you so much to everyone there who's helped me in getting my masters. But then places like Bangor and Aberystwyth and Plymouth and Exeter down in Falmouth, all these places that have a connection to the natural world, that are close to the coast, are fabulous places to go to study the wild world and learn more about it. And then beyond that, I would say, make yourself stand out from the crowd. Do something that nobody else is doing. Set up your own YouTube channel. Make your own videos. Do something definitive to make the world a better place. And then you will have automatically given yourself a foot in the door, because you'll have shown that you've got what it takes. And just the very, very best of luck to all of you that think you might want to get into doing something like what I do, because it's been an amazing way for me to spend my life. I've loved every single second doing this job, and I really hope that plenty more of you can experience the same kind of thing. Okay, a few more questions, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Everyone's saying there's a swan behind Steve. There's not, unfortunately. The Barker family, hello you all. Are there big cats roaming the British countryside, says Shaka Phillips. Probably, but not huge amounts of them, and they're not breeding out there. Hello to Severn to Toby, who's 7 in Little Marlow. Hello Toby, you're just over the river from me. Amazing. Hello Nate, who's 9 years old, wants to be a herpetologist. Hello, really, really good to see you. Shout out to Oliver, age 11, to Emma Harrison, fish, to Jules Francis Sinclair, who has rats. Everyone says that rats like ferret paste. Do they? The Barker family, what animal has the slowest heartbeat? Probably something like the Greenland shark, I would say. All animals that are hibernating. Okay, right. Listen, I could go on for ages here, but it's not all over. DIY Deadly DIY is going out on CBBC every morning at the moment. It's also available on iPlayer, and that's a great way of you all connecting with the wildlife here in the UK for people that live here. So check that out on CBBC or on the iPlayer. My YouTube channel, I'm going to keep uploading loads and loads of clips of amazing animal encounters and extra stuff that hasn't been seen on television before. So please log on there, subscribe, and hopefully there'll be loads of things to see on my YouTube channel off into the future. I'll try and update on all the things like my swans and the badgers and the swallows and how they're doing as well. But the last thing I want to say is that this has been an amazing period of time through lockdown. It's been remarkable for so many reasons, most of them negative. But there's no doubt that wildlife has made a big recovery during this human pause, during this time when we've kind of taken our foot off the gas, and we've not been as kind of destructive as we would normally be as a species. And because of that, so many animals have taken advantage of that and have bounced back. And at the same time, what I've seen primarily doing these live Q&As and speaking to all of you lot is how much you guys are connecting with nature now more than ever before. And that could be, I guess, because, if you've got 1 hour of exercise a day, then you treasure it, and you treasure your time outside so much more, and you use it, and people are noticing the things in their garden more than they ever would do before. And that connection is something really, really special. I know that you all obviously have felt it. Don't lose it. Don't forget about it. As lockdown starts to ease and as things start to return to a sort of normality, remember how special nature has been to you over these last few months. And perhaps try and show some of your friends or your teachers the wonders that you yourself have been able to experience. I think that there is nothing that can compare to the first time that you see one of your own local badgers on a camera trap. The first time you see the birds in your garden fledging and heading off. The first time you go for a wild swim in a river like this or surf your first wave. There are so many people out there who are not getting the opportunity of having those experiences. Maybe you could be one of the people that inspires them to do just that. So, thank you. Thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for all your amazing questions, your photos, your videos. I love you all, and I'm not going anywhere. I promise I will still be doing lots more television programs and lots more things like this. But for now, from me, this is Stevie B signing out.